Wednesday night. And most of you probably don't know is throughout the last 5 years, I've really struggled with depression. I can't really pinpoint when it all started. It's pretty sneaky that way. It kind of just sneaks up on you. Things it slowly works its way into your life, and you find yourself in a really dark, low place. One of the books I read when I was probably at my lowest point, called Hope in the Midst of Depression, described it as a dark, slimy, bottomless pit where there's no solid ground and an escape seems impossible. And it's a really good description of how I felt. I had pretty much done everything Pastor just described. I was worn out. I had a 2-year-old and infant twins at home, a full-time job, and I was trying to keep the house up and be involved here at church, and I was worn out. It was easy to shut people out because I had twins at home and a 2-year-old, and it's hard to go places and do things, and it's really easy to just kind of say, I just can't because the kids are too much or I'm too busy, and it's really easy to shut people out. And I got caught up in thinking about all the things in my life that really weren't working at the time. And I forgot what God had done in my life and all the blessings that I had. And when I finally thought something might not be right, the boys were about 2 months old, and I called the doctor that delivered the boys. I said, this is what's going on. And she said, you're having really common feelings. Her mom has just had a baby, and you've had twins, and it's kind of double everything. And she said, I want you to start taking some medicine. I thought, okay, I'll try this, and I tried it for a couple of months, and depression medication is kind of, it makes you think you're doing really good until, and then you stop taking it because you think, I'm okay, I can do this. And I thought, I can handle this, and I'm kind of a stubborn girl, and I thought, there is nothing in my life, there's no reason for me to be depressed, and I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. But I wasn't really at a point where that was a good decision. So for about the next 18 months, I really struggled. I started having anxiety attacks and I couldn't sleep, and I was terrified of just about everything, that something was going to happen to my kids, or Jeremy, or me. And it was a really, really low time. And I finally went to the doctor for something that I thought was completely unrelated. I was having some back pain, and I sat in her office, and she walked in and she looked me straight in the eye and she said, how are you doing? And I fell apart. I poured my heart out to her, and she said, you are clinically depressed and you need some help. And for the next 3 years, I took medication, and it helped me dig my way out of the pit that I was living in. Finally, in January of this year, every January, Pastor talks about the Daniel fast that he needs you do, and they encourage the church to join them. And I was at a point where I really felt like I needed some direction and guidance, and I was seeking something deeper. And so I decided, I'm going to do this. I never fasted a day in my life. I hate to admit that I was 31 and grown up in church and raised in faith. I had never fasted. I had never thought that was something I should do. But at some point during the Daniel fast, as I was seeking Him and growing deeper, I really felt led to stop my medication, and I'm happy to say that I've been medication-free for the past 6 months. I can't say that I made it hard to live, but I would not have gotten where I'm at without God. The things that really helped me, if you're not reading your Bible, if you're depressed and you're not reading your Bible, you need to read it every day. If you don't know where to start in the Psalms. A lot of them were written by David, and if you think it's King David, he killed Goliath, he's the king, life has got to be good, but I think he was pretty familiar with the pit. I think he understood where people come from in that place. One of my favorite scriptures is Psalm 40, 1 and 2. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and he heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire, and he set my feet on a rock and gave me from my own personal experience, he can do it. You can't do it in your own self. I thought I could. I thought I can handle this. I'm a big girl. I'm a grown-up. I can do this. But you can't. Reach out for help. If it's a doctor, a counselor, a family friend, close family, reach out to someone to share your struggles. And on the other side of that, if you're in a place where you feel like a family member or a friend is not okay, reach out to them. Depression makes you want to feel isolated, and it makes you want to be alone, and sometimes it takes someone reaching out to you saying, something is not right. It took one person looking at me and saying, something's not right and you need help, before I was willing to admit that things were not really okay. Be practical and take care of yourself. Get some rest. It's hard to do when you're depressed. A lot of people think depressed people want to sleep a lot, but depressed people are usually pretty anxious too. Depression and anxiety are pretty good friends, and they like to hang out together. And it's not easy to sleep when you're anxious. But try to find a way to find rest and take care of yourself. And the last thing that I really want to leave you with is that remember, He has a purpose for your pain. You're not going to be hit by yourself. There are other people that are traveling very similar paths that you are. And He has a plan to use your story and your unique experiences to encourage others. And on the other side of your pit, don't waste your experience. Don't waste the time that you spent there. Be willing to share your story with others and encourage them to be